Hi ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone is doing well today. Today we are taking a look at converting units part 1. This is the first Chemquest found in our Unit 2 note packet. So we're going to start learning about some dimensional analysis. The first thing we need to look at and learn how to use is our conversion table. This conversion table will be important in this Chemquest, the next Chemquest, and everything else we do in this unit. So get used to it, we're going to be looking at this for a while. The first thing to note about the table is where I wrote unit, I meant to write the word prefix. So please cross off unit and write the word prefix. All of these are prefixes. They can be combined with base units. And that's actually the first thing we need to talk about. So what we need to talk about is this highlighted thing. It says wherever it says base unit, we can substitute any of our base units. So the first thing is to take a look at what our base units are. Our base units are grams, meters, liters, Kelvin, seconds, moles, joules, and pascals. You can find the abbreviation for each unit in parentheses next to it. The next thing is we need to look and figure out where we can substitute these base units in. So these base units are found in this table. So this table right here where it says base unit, you can substitute in any of these. So where it says base unit, we can substitute in grams. So what you can see is 1 gigagram is 1 billion grams. We can do the same thing for mega. We can substitute in grams. So where it says 1 megagram is 1 million grams. We can do the same thing for any of these units. It would be the same thing for meters. 1 gigameter is 1 billion meters. 1 megameter is 1 million meters, and so on. So what you start to see here is it's not the unit that is associated with this number, but it's actually the prefix. The prefix is what assigns this number. It'll make a little bit more sense how to use these numbers once we go through a practice problem. So that's the first thing we're going to do right here. I also did forget to say that you can combine, or maybe I did say it but forget to point it out, but you can combine any prefix with any base unit. It does not matter the prefix found over here, and it does not matter the base unit found in your sentence. They're all able to be combined together. So next we have an example of our first conversion problem. So the first thing we want to convert is 3.75 centimeters into meters. So how did I know that this is centimeters? Well, you guys have all seen this symbol before, so you probably knew that. But if you didn't, there are a few you're unfamiliar, so we can mimic using this table. So we can come up here and we can find what the C equals. Whatever the first letter is we're going to have to look at the symbol part. So we look for a lowercase c. Oh, we found it. It tells us it's centi, so we know it's centi something. And then we look at the m. We have to find the m in our base units. We find that the m is associated with meters. So then that's how we got centimeters. You're going to have to do this for some other units. So units you might not be familiar with are like a nano, this weird little Greek U, which stands for micro, and the other symbols that you might not be familiar with. So the first thing we need to do when we set up this problem is we need to write what we're converting, and we need to set up our t. So, and it is like I did have right here when we set up our t, it is important to include our units. When I say setting up our t, we are going to set up like a little t-chart, just like that. So I am going to do step 1 right over here. So I set up my t-chart, and then I have to write what I'm converting. What you're converting is always going to go in the top left corner. So this is what we're converting, top left corner. So next we need to plug units into this side of our t-chart, the right side of our t, to make sure that our units cancel. So what you kind of have set up here are some fractions, except the fractions are divided by a t. So we can include a 1 here. Remember, anything divided by, as everything is always divided by 1, is still itself, so we don't have to write it, but if you do, it helps you remember to put your units next to it and not underneath it by mistake. So we need to add our units to the t so they cancel out. One thing that's worth noting for step 2 is units are like numbers. Oh, slide over a little bit. Units are like numbers the way they cancel out. So we know that 2 divided by 2 equals 1. What you see is anything divided by itself equals 1. It's the same thing with units. If we want our units to cancel out and equal 1, we need to have some centimeters in the numerator and some centimeters in the denominator. So if we come over here, right now we have centimeters in our numerator. To make them cancel, we need to put our centimeters in the denominator on the other fraction. This way, when you multiply across at the end, our unit, you'll have a centimeter in the numerator, a centimeter in the denominator, and they'll cancel. I'll make sure to show you that at the end so that it makes a little bit more sense. So we would write our centimeters in the denominator. So what goes in the denominator, what goes right here, this is what you are trying to cancel. Then what's going to go in the top? What goes in the top is, this is the unit that you are converting to. So we look back at the problem and we're converting to meters. So we write an M up top because M stands for meters. That is step 2. Now moving on to step 3. Step 3, we need to use the conversion table to find our conversion factors to plug our values in. So just because we have a lot going on over here with some notes, I'm just going to set up another T exactly the same way it is up top, just so I have room to write and don't mess up the notes. So now we are going to move on to step 3, which you're going to see right here when we add the numbers in. So how we figure out our numbers, we use the conversion table. To use the conversion table, we look up here and we look at the centi row. We know we're using the centi row because we already determined that C stands for centi. So then we read it across. 1 centi base unit is 0.01 base units. Remember this important sentence we highlighted? Where it says base unit, you can substitute any base unit. So right here, where it says base unit, we can substitute in meters. So the way this reads across is 1 centimeter equals 0.01 meters. So when you are doing this Chemquest, you have to write out your conversion factor. I'm going to show you how to write it out, but in the next 3 practice problems that you're going to have to do, write out the conversion factor. I'm going to be looking for it. If you do not have it, it's going to be considered minus a point on your Chemquest. So please remember to write out your conversion factor. You have to figure it out anyways to solve the problem. So just take the extra step to write it out. It will make sure that you did it correct or make you more comfortable. So we look at the centi. So it says 1 centimeter is 0.01 meters. So that's what I'm going to write. 1 centimeter equals 0.01 meters. So now we need to plug our values in. Remember the abbreviation for centimeter is cm. The abbreviation for meters is m. So we look right here. We see centimeters. It tells us we have a 1. So we write a 1 next to centimeter in our fraction. Over here, we have 0.01 next to meters. So we write 0.01 next to the m. So now step 4 is to solve. When we solve, we multiply the numerators together, multiply the denominators together, and then divide. So what you'll see happen, I'm going to write it out this time, so then you see the units canceling. You don't have to take the time to write it out. You can just type it into your calculator and then give me the problem, give me the answer. So what happens? We take 3.75 centimeters and it is multiplied by 0.01 meters in the numerator. Then you have a 1 times 1 centimeter in the denominator. So next we have to cancel out our units. Remember we set up here that when you have a centimeter in the numerator, a centimeter in the denominator, they cancel out because they're equal to 1. So that's what you see happen right here. Your centimeter in the numerator cancels, your centimeter in the denominator cancels, and then the only unit you'd be left with is meters. Remember, it's because this 1 is unitless, because it was just random. We just added it on for math purposes. So we are left with meters. So now all you have to do is type this into your calculator. When you type this into your calculator, you would find that you have 0.0375 meters as your answer. And that was step 4. You can also show step 4 by crossing out the units in the fraction, because that symbolizes you know that the units cancel out and all you had to do was multiply across and then divide the numerators by the denominators. So, I hope that helped. I know that this is a little bit different, But what I would like you guys to do is take these steps that I just went through and try to answer these 3 questions right here. Use the table to find the conversion factors. Remember, you have to show your conversion factors. Write them out. I'm going to be looking for the conversion factors when I check this. And remember, it's important that you just attempt the problems. And then if you have any questions when you come to class, you'll be able to ask me. I hope everyone has a good day. Oh, I almost forgot the joke. So this joke is brought to you by Jackson Ansalmi. I'm really sorry if I butchered your last name. I don't have to say them often, so yeah. But the joke is, what does lightning do to a castle? It storms it! Well, thanks, Jackson. I hope everyone has a good day. I'll see you in class. Goodbye.